Hey guys, Bryce Tubbs here. Today I want to talk about 3 reasons why I did not start my own tax firm and why I chose to do bookkeeping and virtual CFO services instead. Okay, so it's funny, right? Because a lot of times I hear people and they talk about they want to start their own tax business, and while that's a great business depending on the level of taxes that you're doing, if you're just going to be doing general personal tax returns, in a lot of cases for me, I always recommend you guys do like bookkeeping or CFO services instead. And there's really 3 reasons why that is. For me personally, it was just what I was kind of getting into, and just it was so hard for me to like get clients in the beginning that I really had to make a system to get more of the monthly services. Now, if you're watching this video and maybe you've seen some of my other videos before and you know that you want help, like you're trying to reach your goals and you don't really care whether you do taxes, bookkeeping, CFO, monthly, like you don't really care about what service you offer. It's more that you know this is the field you want to be in, this is the business you want to get started with, and you want to go and make anywhere between about $10,000 to about $20,000 per month in your business. I recommend you go ahead and click on the link inside the description below to book a call with me to see if I can help you inside of the private mastermind program. Now, just kind of getting into the video, like the number one reason why I did not start my own tax firm was because when I got started with my accounting business back in 2014, I started in the middle of March with no idea what I was doing, right? Taxes are generally about timing. So if you're going to try and get your tax revenue going, you need to start the months before tax season. It's really hard when, the deadline is, April 18th and you start like March 13th. Because in order to make any sustainable money, and you're only charging maybe between $75 to about $200 per return, you need to get a really large amount of returns. And that's why a lot of people, like, they get started, like, they start like in January advertising for it. They start getting some clients, and then they're waiting for the people to come and give them all the work. For me, I didn't have that luxury, because I was like, oh crap. I didn't realize that in order to get taxes, you need to start before tax season started. Looking back, it seems very obvious, but when I was starting, it was not obvious at all, and it was extremely frustrating. So that's number one. Okay, I just had bad timing when I first got started, and I needed to make money really quickly. And number 2 is kind of why I moved towards bookkeeping and CFO services. And the reason is because I needed some margin. One of the biggest challenges I hear about people when they start just doing like tax returns is that they don't really have any margin. It's really hard to start growing a sustainable business when you're trying to make money off of $75 to about $300 tax returns. And it's just not a lot of meat on the bone. You can't really market, you can't really advertise, you can't really hire staff unless you have a huge volume. So for the average person who's just starting out, you need a lot of clients in order to really make any sustainable money, in order to grow the business, to really get at that 6-figure level. However, with bookkeeping, monthly accounting, payroll, virtual CFO services, you can get a very low amount of clients, under 20, and be making 6 figures per year. I was on a coaching call actually probably like 15 minutes ago talking to this individual, and I was like, you don't really need a lot of clients if you get the right clients in place and they're paying you a high amount of money. For example, like Audrey does about $17,000 in sales per month. And when I was like, yes, I was telling, yeah, she has this many clients, like, oh, wait. She actually has so few clients. She does $17,000 per month with under 15 clients total for her whole business. And it was just kind of interesting to see. I was like, wow. Because I remember when I was starting out, like I was trying to sell my services for $400 a month, right? So that's about a $4,800 per year contract. We have people that now charge $4,800 a month, or even $6,000 a month, or $7,000 a month, or $9,000 a month, right, for their monthly services, for monthly CFO or monthly bookkeeping. And it's just crazy how it's just like you can get one client that just pay so much money over the course of a year, and it allows you to be able to go and hit a revenue goal a lot faster because you don't quite need as many. It's more about selecting and choosing the right list of people first, and then you start making money. It was actually funny. I have one student inside the program, and she was probably about a weekend, because she had been in the program for about 2 weeks, but she's been moving for the last week, so she is moving across country, and she's getting a little frustrated. She's like, it's been 2 weeks, I haven't gotten a client yet. I'm like, well, you've been on vacation for 1. Have you done the action steps in the 2nd week? She's like, no. So we did a little impromptu call, and I was like, hey, so do this, do this, do this, do this. And then literally this morning she goes, hey, I did the I did this one post inside of a Facebook group. I got 7 calls booked. I was like, oh, you got 7 calls booked? That was really fast. Okay, cool. So then we did like another impromptu call. It was like a 10-minute call where I just told her how to like close it. And kind of like, sometimes when you're first starting and you're first getting your first couple consultations, especially if it happens faster than what you were expecting, you sometimes get nervous. So she knows exactly what to say, but we did the coaching around her confidence, how to talk to people just a little bit. Sorry, my battery cut off. I think what I was saying beforehand was with Crystal, she knew exactly what to say, but sometimes like, even if you have a script, even if you have all the stuff you're supposed to say, if it's your first call and you have a huge amount of calls on the calendar, sometimes you get nervous. So that's why it's like inside the mentorship program, I'm here to support you, to make sure that like, we just got on the phone, we spoke for 10 minutes, we're like, hey, this is what's gonna look like, this is what's gonna happen, this is what the person's gonna say, it's okay, just relax, this is what you should expect. And then she just sent me a text message like literally an hour later, she's like, hey, just got a client. I'm like, ooh. So she closed 1 out of 1 so far. She has, I think, 2 or 3 more calls on the calendar today. So out of 7, she's closed her first one. So the other ones are, I think, either for tomorrow or next week. So I'm just super excited to be able to kind of see that progress and just really like see someone who puts in the work, uses what I tell them, trusts the process, and then starts making money. Like this is not a very hard business model. And here's the cool thing, right? If it was taxes, it would be very, very hard for, someone to do that. But I mean, these clients are paying you anywhere between $500 to $5,000 per month. It's kind of that beginner range that I like to talk about. I do have students where they get like $9,600 a month clients, or $15,000 a month clients, or John got a $36,000 a month client, then he also got a $35,000 per month. And I'm not saying $3,500 a month. This is $36,000, $35,000 per month for virtual CFO and bookkeeping services for these like large companies, right? There's just so much meat on the bone, and like it's just really exciting to be able to kind of see that. And when I was getting started, I never would have expected that you could sell something that high. I mean, because, it makes sense to like have, like a $36,000 per year kind of service, right? Because that's $3,000 per month. Whenever I hear people just talking about these numbers, it's like, man, there's so much money when you can go and solve problems for larger businesses. And bookkeeping and virtual CFO services are really like the best services to do that. If you want some freedom in your life, you want to be in control, you don't want to have to worry about working for someone else ever again, I recommend that you click on the link inside the description below to book a call with me. It's going to be a link that says like oncehub.com. That's basically my scheduling tool that allows you to be able to go select a time on my calendar that fits your schedule the best. And then it asks you a couple of questions. It asks you a couple of questions because like when we get on the call, I need to make sure it's a good fit. Like if you answer the question, you're like, I don't want to make any money. I love where I'm at right now. I don't want anything to change. It's just like, why are we really here on the call? Versus if I can see, it's like, hey, I really want to make this thing work. This is why it hasn't worked. This is what my goals are. Then we get on the call and I'm like, okay, cool. So I can kind of get a picture of where you are. I can outline what it would look like for us to work together. And then we can save as much time as possible, jump in and be like, hey, let's get started. And then you can be like, yeah, I'm ready to get started. Or in some cases, just not the best time for you. Life is really about choices. Oftentimes, you just choose to do it in spite of that. Take the vacation after you're already inside the program. And then you can take a vacation for the rest of your life. So if that's you, I will see you on the call. If you're not quite ready, that's okay too. I understand. Sometimes people, need a little bit more trust and just more time marinating in, information before they can commit. It does take a little bit longer for you to find success, but if you like taking things slow, that's okay too. I understand. I wasn't like that. I generally make fast decisions, but sometimes people need to, just take a little bit more time. So if that's you, I'll see you on the call in the future. If you're ready to go now, I'll see you on the call as soon as possible. Talk to you soon. It's been Bryce Tubbs. Take it easy.